Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of IOHL Radio, featuring Supreme Trooper, which is me, and Barry Pucks.
Hello.
It will be broadcasted around 5 o'clock to any time between then and 8 o'clock on IOHL Radio YouTube channel. I'll be posting it on IOHL.net as well. It's a lot easier to subscribe, though. You can send us comments and stuff. We already have 5 subscribers. Shout out to Kiefer for being the first subscriber on the first day it was announced. Couple of announcements now. Kiefer has urged all training camp players to contact him with availability because he will be starting training camp games. He wanted to start it last week, but nothing happened. And also a big announcement for the radio. AOW Kiefer may or may not be joining us next week. Depending on how training camp goes, he will contact us. So just contact Kiefer if you're a training camp player, or if you're a free agent, because free agents can fill those spots too. Another announcement, a new rule in the IOHL. There is now a max limit for games to protect against stacked teams and continuous lines being played. The rule is the minimum is still 3. The max games will be 6 with a 7th if needed to sub. So if a player does not make it and they don't have any other subs, they can use the 7th game, but no more than 7 games can be played by a player.
Do you like that rule, Trupa? Do you want to talk? We could talk about how we.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair because you have a team like. I mean, I don't want to call out a team on it, but Pittsburgh, you had a team like Pittsburgh, they were playing all these games. You had all these players playing the max games. They were playing like 8 games or something like that, and they were just stacked. And
they're a good team, no doubt. They have they got a lot of chemistry together. They cycle. I mean, they use their points. It's playing against them. It's fun to see. It's scary though.
Yeah, and. I mean, even with the rule, they're still going to be a stacked team. Even with the rule, they're going to still be a pretty dominant force.
Sure.
They've had a couple one-point games against a couple teams, but other than that, they've been blowing out teams.
Right. You know what's nice about it, too, is, it's going to force owners to really utilize all of their roster. And I think that's important for all the players in the league. They, everyone needs to play, and I think that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, definitely a fair rule. And I was surprised it wasn't brought up earlier. And so let's get on with the show. Let's do an overview of what we want going to happen. What's going to happen next week is what we want to start is Players of the Week. We'll have on the forum, we'll post 3 choices of each position. Forward, we'll have 3 forwards, 3 D-men, and 3 goalies that we think played well in that week. And it'll be up to you guys to vote for them. Whoever gets the most votes, gets 3 stars. There will be 1 goalie, 1 forward, and 1 D-man. And
yeah, already in the first week, we got a lot of points.
Yeah, we got we got Michael D leading in points. But we'll talk about.
He came out pretty strong, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. We're gonna be doing special giveaways and prizes, even maybe contests in the future. We'll be giving out 800 Microsoft points. We'll give out other stuff. Well, just a bunch of different stuff. We'll give out possibly even NHL gear. Just want to hear any ideas you guys have. Would be great. You can always give us ideas. We would love feedback. Anything you want to add, Barry?
Yeah, maybe we could give away a proper working headset for those guys that really don't like to talk much.
So we can give away that. We can give Xbox gear out. Maybe
Yeah.
Xbox Live subscription cards, stuff like that. Just whatever comes to mind, we'll give out. So let's get into the gist of the first show. Let's talk about the draft first.
Okay, yeah. Going to the draft.
First round draft, Tank got picked, but traded almost instantly. Traded about 4 days after the draft in sort of a controversial trade. It was accepted first, never approved, then rejected by Strome, the former owner of Detroit, only to be approved that later that night.
That was a big trade. I think that's the biggest trade.
That was definitely the big blockbuster deal that we had. It was Tank for Awakening and a couple of draft picks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah. Looks like. Awakening, first round, and a 4th round pick. So that helped Pittsburgh out a lot. They got a good forward lineup, and they also got a solid defense. So good move for Pitt. Detroit came out swinging though.
Detroit got a good member in Awakening, and he ended up being becoming our owner when Strome stepped down on a Sunday.
Good. It's that's going to really help Detroit out for the next season. Just having another first round pick, and even the pick, even the every round had a lot of solid players. So it's going to be interesting down the road who wins.
Yeah, the favorite has to be Pittsburgh.
Right.
The favorite has to be Pittsburgh. And
however, Pittsburgh went to overtime a couple times, eh?
Yeah. And I'm against a couple of them were against Detroit.
Right. Yeah. Those are close games.
So who's your favorite right now?
My favorite team right now, has to be to win. You would say Pittsburgh. They are 7-1. They haven't lost in overtime. But there's you got Montreal right behind them. You got Detroit's 2 games behind them. There's a lot of possibility for I would say every team, and it's going to be interesting seeing how all these teams, who meshes together well and who doesn't as the road goes. And come playoffs, it's going to be real interesting seeing who's going to be the underdog, who's going to climb to the top, if there will be an underdog or not. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, early on, the underdog has to be. It's got to be Nashville right now. No offense to you guys, but guys are struggling. But it seems like Bill has a handle on it.
Oh yeah.
You guys are 2-5-2. You guys have grabbed 6 points. It's not bad for the first week. Not great. Vancouver is struggling a little bit to get a rhythm going. They're 4-4.
Right.
Within a week.
And these games are close too. They're 1-goal games. It seems like, and no one's been really getting blown out. Toronto's struggling a little bit, but I think they're going to find their groove. You watch these teams and you play against these teams, and everyone's got a pretty good head on their shoulders as far as playing the game. So
Yeah. The second pick was our radio broadcaster Barry Pucks, picked by Nashville in the second round. Many people thought he was going to get picked in the first pick in the first round, but he dropped to the second pick after a surprise pick by Detroit, in my opinion, with Tank. But many people told me they weren't surprised, but I was surprised that he didn't take him. And you see,
then we got Meat Top Cheese, the third overall pick. Vancouver. How do you feel about that? Vancouver picking out Meat Top Cheese.
Definitely a good pick. I mean, it's hard to go wrong in the first round when you have so much talent.
Sure.
It's hard to go wrong. Toronto, with a big statement, picked a defenseman in the first round.
Yeah, that is
Moose 44.
Man.
Moose 44 was picked in the first round. The first defenseman picked.
Yeah, a lot of that had to be. You would think maybe a goalie, but that wasn't the case. They came out with they wanted a defenseman, and that's important to have a solid D-man. It's going to pay off either sooner than later. So,
I was questioning whether Toronto knew what they were doing, picking a defenseman in the first round. But hey, if they have their head on their shoulders and they want to pick a defenseman, I'm guessing he knows what he's doing, picking Moose 44. Pittsburgh picked up Nicky C, which was a good pickup in the first round. And
what's funny is too, Pittsburgh won either way, whether they had the first pick or the fifth pick. They seemed to know what they were doing. They went with Nicky C, but they 1 day later they got Tank. So
yeah, so they got a first round. They got the first pick and the fourth pick.
Sure.
Was it fourth pick or fifth pick?
It was the fifth.
Yeah, fifth pick. Oh well. A little brain fart.
It's all good. Montreal.
Nicky C's yet to have a point, though. There's the thing. Nicky C is yet to have a point. Actually, no, yeah, he has a point. He's a power play goal.
Looking at it now, bringing up the stats, and
yeah, Nicky C has 2 points.
1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points.
2 points in 2 games.
8 shots.
So that has to be pertaining to how many games he has played. He's only had 2 games played, and he's had 2 points in those games. That's not bad. Point per game player.
Plus 2. If you could put the puck in on the power play, that's huge.
That's really big, and you look at the stats, and they look packed.
They fill up the score sheet. It's from hits to power play goals to shots. Michael D 71, 48 shots. That's
he's a
unreal.
shooting machine right now.
Yep.
Michael D's on a mission. He's on a mission. 20 points in 8 games. And just remind you, you're not going to see 8 games a week played anymore. So you don't have to worry about going up against Michael D every single time we face Pittsburgh. You'll have that sort of odd chance that you might not see him. But chances are you will. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. 8 games played, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points. Even dose of dopeness. With 5 games played, he scored 7 goals, 7 assists, and 14 points, 28
that's
shots.
Scary.
That's something scary. And this is all on Pittsburgh. Tank, 5 games played, 9 points, 3 goals, 6 assists.
Yep.
Even Robert Kingpin, the defenseman, eight games played, 1 goal, eight assists for
Sure.
9 points, 19 shots from a defenseman with a plus
Gucci
6.
Man as well. I mean, Gucci Man has 6 points, 6 shots. He played 4 games, and he's something to worry about as well.
That entire team's something to worry about. I mean, look
Sure.
at even S guy. He only played 1 game and he has 3 assists. Imagine this guy. Imagine this guy gets a couple games under his belt.
Yep. And and we haven't even scrolled down to the goalie column yet.
We haven't even scrolled down to the goalie column. This goalies, man. Penrose 6-0 in the first week, and he was registered as a goalie to begin with.
Yep. He doesn't like to lose. 1.53 goals against average with what's that? 94 shots against. That's, I mean, unreal.
Ridiculous.
.883 save percentage. He's doing well. And then you got Esquire. Played 2 games, and his goals against average is 1. That's pretty immaculate.
Yeah. Vezina battle in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And Penrose was initially a defenseman, and he decided to go back and goalie. So Penrose rookie season as goalie in the IOHL. It's a favorite to win the Vezina. He's a favorite right now. 6-0.
Yep.
1
Pittsburgh's
shutout.
He's on a 4-game win streak. They're 7-1-0. They are undefeated at home. So props to any team that can end that race for Pittsburgh. They're just like the NHL. They're a rock solid all-star team, and every other team really should make sure when they play them, it's a position battle.
All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs now.
Okay. Toronto's 3-5-1, 7 points, 9 games.
So they're struggling.
Yep.
They're struggling, but they got Jay Mitch. Jay Mitch will help them out. He'll get their head on straight. I mean, they got a good team. They got Grabo, Kyle 9, KSE 11 is their owner.
Oh yeah.
It's a decent. They have a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, they came out strong. They came out pretty strong, and then they're on a 5-game losing streak now. So, I think they were 3-0-1 to start. I mean, they're in a little slump at the end of the first week, but it is only the first week, so it's nothing. I wouldn't be afraid. They're close games. It's not like they're getting blown out. So Toronto's got some good players. They put up points. I wouldn't be too worried about them.
No, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, you got Grabo leading their points. They got 14 points, 8 games played. Again, you're not going to see 8 games played in a week ever again. 5 goals, 9 assists.
Yep.
Kyle 9 has 9 points in 3 games. 9 points in 3 games.
That's something to watch.
Something to watch. Herbalife, 4 games played, 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. Not bad. They got a good team. Just they're struggling.
That they do.
They're struggling, and got a good guy in goal, Stranger Danger. He's a good guy.
Yep,
He's
we
always
like
been,
Stranger.
Yeah, we like Stranger. He's always been a supporter of the radio show from the get-go. So he's a good guy. Wes Rush, I know. He was one of the guys who introduced me in this league. He's a good guy, too. Kuchbaum's not that bad. either.
Yeah, well, it looks like Stranger's their starting goaltender, which we know. He was at all the scouting games. I remember seeing him early on. I mean, he's a position goaltender. He plays the position, and it looks like he's 1-3 right now, but it's just a groove. The groove has to get going, and I think if there's a guy on the team that's gonna lead them, it's Stranger.
Yeah, well, he needs to get his head straight. He has 7 penalty minutes. He's got 7 penalty minutes for a goalie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what those penalties are for. Would like if anybody can let me know that by next week. I'll talk about it, but it seems like he's having a hard time with the penalty minutes. But that could be the delayed game penalty, the trapezoid. What I think is just malarkey. I just think it's just
right.
a bunch of bull, that penalty.
Sure.
And I mean, it can always be sketch in these type of simulation games where you're playing a puck in the trapezoid and your goalie decides to animate into the trapezoid.
We also know that Stranger likes to drop the gloves. I've seen him a couple times walk up to center ice. I think he actually fought Manly. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was he fought Manly in net. So
that could be it too. Standing up for his teammates, that's good. It's always good. Overly fighting is not good, however.
Nope.
But it looks like one of those could be a fighting major, and then possibly he has a minor penalty on it. But I don't know how you get 7 penalty minutes if you had a fighting major and a minor. 7 penalty minutes. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Sure. You want to move on to the next team? We could talk about the Montreal Canadiens.
Let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens now. Okay.
5-2-1.
5-2-1. Not bad. They're doing pretty damn good.
Yep. That's 11 points right behind Pittsburgh.
They seem to be they seem to be good in the goalie column too. Petri Dish is definitely their starting goaltender, 3-0. Seems like a fighter too. He has 5 penalty minutes. Petri Dish standing up for his own teammates. He's got a goal against average of 1.33. Not bad.
Definitely not bad. That's a solid percentage. And yeah, he's a force in net.
Bozak has 1 game played. Wasn't bad in goal. I'm assuming that's not his primary position.
Right. They got a pretty even team. Angry Pirate only played 1 game, but you got Gut Punch, 12 points in 5 games. That's pretty solid. And then you got Huggy the Bear. I mean, he's got 9 assists. That's ridiculous in 5 games.
Yeah. And it seems like it's the scoring is spread out too. Because you see the amount of games played. It seems like they're spreading the games out a decent amount for the players, and these players are scoring like small numbers compared to other people, but they're getting scoring by committee. They have depth. Something you need.
That's true, and when you have 2 lines, this is what it looks like on the score sheet. I mean, just like you said, everyone. It seems like almost everybody's scoring, and everyone's getting points. So, and then I mean, look at Jai Diggs. He's got 30 hits. That has to be close to leading the league.
Yeah. And you even have a goalie that I have yet to see, which I'm hearing wonders about. C. Ward, X30. I'm hearing wonders about this guy, but I've not I'm yet to see him play.
apologize. KSE11 is leading the league in hits. He's got 42, but you got Jai Diggs right behind him with less games played, 30 hits. That's I'd be afraid on the ice.
Yeah, I definitely won't keep my head up with them on with those two on the ice. All right.
So, yep.
Standings.
Western Conference.
The Western Conference, Detroit's actually, after a slow start, Detroit has taken the lead in the Western Conference. Actually, no, I think that might be a little misleading because I believe the stats are in error because it says they have 10 games played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an error because it's 8 games played, if I'm correct. A week?
Yeah, I think.
Or is it 2 games?
It's
Or is it 10 games actually?
No, it's Sunday. There's 2 games, Sunday through Thursday, so that's 5 days. So it is 10.
It is 10. Okay.
Oh,
a couple of teams are missing their stats. A reminder: if you miss your stats by the first game tonight, it's a fine. Penrose is urging all teams to have their stats in by the first game the next day. He wants those stats in, and it also helps us because we're not going to be able to talk about your team properly if you don't have your proper stats in.
It's definitely one of the most important things on the owner's parts.
Yes.
If we played 10 games, the following Sunday, 10 games should be up. It's one thing if it's Wednesday to Thursday, but when it's starting a new week, the previous stats should be in.
But I do believe I saw something that Jay Mitch said that the stats weren't approved. I do believe that all the teams may have put their stats in, and it just hasn't been approved yet. So it may be a whole different deal with it. Like, it may be just the whole thing with getting his stats approved. They might have put all their stats in, so I'm not going to cut to any assumptions, but...
Sure.
So, we got Detroit in first place in the Western Conference. Pittsburgh's in the entire league is in first place, with Montreal behind them. And Toronto struggling in that third spot.
It's no secret that Detroit, they had a little bit of a rough start. It was kind of a shocker with the tank trade, for the whole team, just to regroup and get their chemistry back. That's, adjusting the lineup, whatnot. But it seems like they're doing really well. I mean, they got Iggy, leading the team with 12 points, and then you got 54 right behind him. I think 54 is happy playing in Detroit.
And if you guys aren't hearing anything from me about Detroit, is this because we have a set rule? We cannot talk about our own teams. We can't criticize our own teams. We can talk about trades that our teams have done, but we cannot talk critiquing our own team. I just think that's inappropriate to do.
Sure. Yeah. It shows about fairness. So we don't want to, we don't want to sound too conceited on the radio show talking about ourselves. So we rather talk about you guys and everybody else and, how everyone's doing. So. And
it's the same thing with Barry. Barry can't talk about Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. I support Nashville 100%. I love playing there. But, it's all fairness. We'll have Trupa talking about Nashville, and I'll talk about Detroit.
Yeah, a couple things I want to ask you. What was with those trade rumors I was seeing on the mini chat?
Oh, yeah, right. There was a couple trade rumors early on. However, as we know, nothing's ever, things have to be approved. People are on the trading block, etc. Looks like there's some trades due to personal preference, and then then there's trades that just happen because they happen, and that's it. But getting back to Detroit, they've won 2 games in a row, and a lot of shots on net. I mean, from Iggy to Strome to 54 to Good Luck Chuck, and then you got the one and only Trupa on defense. So
2 games played, only play on Sunday. I'm here for the bitches.
And then you scroll down. They got a lot of guys in net. They got some good goalies. You got Tapley with a 1.51 goals against average, and you got Swordfish, who's really killing it. He's played 3 games. Almost a .890 saving percentage. This team's a good team. I play against them tonight, so I'm excited, but at the same time, it's something to look out for. I mean, they're solid in the face-off column, and
what?
I mean, it's an all-around solid lineup. So good for Detroit hopping back in the race.
And I believe we have to talk about Vancouver. Oh my goodness. I am very sorry, hockey gods. I almost forgot about your team. And they've been struggling a little bit too.
They have the 3rd overall pick, Meat Top Cheese, but they haven't been playing him much. They played him 3 games.
Played him 3 games, and he's only scored 2 goals in those 3 games. Jeez, not living up to his expectations.
But it takes time. You have to play your players and see what they could do. We all have rough patches, so I wouldn't be surprised if Cheese played a couple more games this week. He'll be putting up points left and right.
And Hockey Gods is struggling in goal.
Oh yeah,
he's struggling big time in goal. Hopefully he turns it around.
His goals against average is a 4. I've played against him, and he's a solid goalie. And I had a rough time playing against him in the scouting games, but it looks like maybe his defense has to step up. Maybe it's not all him. We'll see.
You think they should start playing Bazelak in goal a little bit more? You had 1 game's played and you got a shutout.
That's true. We will see. We will see as the week goes on. But right now, I would put Bazelak in net.
Captain Clutch leading their team in points. A very low point leader too, but 4 games played, 8 points. That's good.
That is good.
Warriors, good as always. 7 games played, 8 points.
You got Fitzpatrick on D, who is probably one of their top defensemen, if not one of the top D-men in the league. And he's got 3 games played, 2 assists. I don't think the points are up to date, because I do know he has more hits than the 0 that is put on the website. So I know playing against this guy, he's a pretty smart, solid defenseman. You got Prime Kings, 5 points. He's something to worry about. And then
Yeah, but we all know that he's your cousin. That's the only reason why you're talking about him like that. Nah, Fitzpatrick's good. He's a good guy.
He's good, yeah.
And last but not least, Nashville.
Oh,
Smashville.
Yeah.
Let's see here. A couple players here. I was like 7 games played, but they don't have any goals. They have 3 assists. Showtime. Seems to be struggling to get on the scoreboard, but he's a defenseman, so I want to put the onus on him. But you mean you got Crot 19, 7 points in 3 games. Start playing him more, he might start scoring more for you guys. Don't know his availability, but And then we got Barry Pucks, our own radio show talk show host, second in on Nashville. 6 games played, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, 22 shots. Jesus.
Yeah, it's actually 7 points. I think they're tied for the lead, so I think they're just waiting on the stats to be updated. But
Grizzly not doing too bad with 6 points in 3 games. That's
really?
pretty good.
Yeah.
We got Jay all day, 6 points, 4 games played. Unselfish player, 5 assists. Craig Zor playing pretty good. Showtime seems to me, I played with him in a couple club games, or seems to me more of a stay-at-home D, so those 3 points could be just because he's staying at home and not really in the offense too much. He got, looks to be their starting goaltender, Manley, but they got a little bit of a goaltending controversy going down there with Groggy and Manley. But it seems like Manley's taking the stranglehold on that starting goaltender with a 1.75 goal against average. He is 1-3 though. Manley get putting out the penalty minutes too. Jeez. Alrighty, let's go on to the leaders. The leaders in stats.
Okay.
Starting off this week 1, I'm getting sick of talking about this guy. Michael D, points 20, leading the leaders. Goals, Michael D, 10. Assists, Michael D, 10. We got a plus-minus leader in Gut Punch, Montreal. Our leaders in goalies, you got goal against average, S-Guy, 1. S-Guy, 9.29 save percentage. Wins, Penrose, obviously, 6-0. Will he go 6-0 this week? Basilick and Penrose have a shutout, I believe. There's a couple ties for the shutouts. I believe there's a 3-way tie in shutouts.
Right. Yeah. It says something when you can shut out a team in this league. You see how these guys put the puck in the net. You see the points up on each team. It's you should be proud of yourself if you could shut any one of these teams out. So.
Alrighty, let's get to let's look at the games ahead right now. We got tonight is going to be Detroit versus Pittsburgh. That should be a good matchup.
Sure, yeah.
Should be a good matchup. Oh my God, that's going to be tough to play
Pittsburgh's only
Pittsburgh.
loss is from Detroit.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh's going to be, and all the games that Detroit played against Pittsburgh either went to OT or a tight game.
Yeah, they've been close, man. It's going to be fun. I wish I could watch these games live. Maybe we can soon, because it's fun to see how, what these guys do to stop players like Michael D or, any one of those Penguins out there. So
Coming soon, live broadcast from the IOHL radio show. Possibly. That could be a possibility.
Oh, yeah. They got these graphic
Capture cards.
capture cards, and it'd be fun to if one player on each team could video the game. That'd be something to, especially for playoffs. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And another 10:30. The other 10:30 games, we got Vancouver and Toronto. That should be a good matchup. Both teams trying to find their rhythm in the league.
And the Battle of Canada.
The Battle of Canada. We got Ontario versus British Columbia. So they're trying to find a groove. You got Nashville versus Montreal. With Montreal being the obvious favorite. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Montreal, anytime you play Montreal, you're not really sure what you're up against because they, like we said earlier, they just spread out all of their points, and I wouldn't say there's any first or second line on that team. I think they're both first line, so it's going to be interesting.
Definitely going to be interesting. Moving on to the 11:15 games, we have Toronto versus Pittsburgh. Now, that may be a tough matchup for Toronto. But if they can get a win before that, if they can win against Vancouver, they could have a chance to get a rhythm going against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Sure, yeah. It's if there's a better time for Toronto to get 4 points tonight, tonight's the night for them. Even a pickup 2 would be great. It could really help them out.
Even to pick up 3 points tonight.
Sure, yeah.
If they get to overtime with Pittsburgh, that'll be a good confidence boost. If they beat Pittsburgh tonight, man, will that boost their confidence.
That'll be something to talk about for next week if they could pull that off.
Yeah, then you'd be talking about maybe Toronto getting a big confidence boost, and then look out, here comes Toronto.
Sure.
Sunday, 11:15 tonight, Vancouver Canucks versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, another Canada battle. Yeah, it's
battle. Same thing here with Toronto. If Vancouver can get a win against Montreal, that could be a big confidence booster.
Yeah, that's going to be a close one. Vancouver they're an unpredictable team. Like we said before, they've had a couple slumped games, but seeing them play sometimes they're just they're unstoppable defensively. They have probably one of the top defensive lineups in the game, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun.
And also, we got a conference rival game tonight. Nashville versus Detroit. That should be fun. I'll be playing in that game.
So will I. Boy, I will see you there, Troopa.
Yeah, we got a little broadcasting rivalry going on now. Alrighty. Let's go to the questions. What questions do we have today?
Yeah.
We have one question from Penrose, being a little arrogant. Will Penrose go 5-0 this week to continue from a 6-0 week? What do you think, Barry?
Confidence is key, but to put out a statement, to put out a question like that, that's, I think you're going to get a lot of teams that want to really beat them, and I think that's only going to help other people. I sure want to beat them, so I'm sure any team is really ready to play him.
So watch out, Penrose. You got a target on your back now. Asking that question. I do believe if he can keep it up, he can go 6-0, but I do not see him going 6-0 again. I do not see him going undefeated again. I just don't see it. Possibly, maybe. And from GNG Slayer, the Vancouver Canucks, we got, will Penrose win the Vezina?
Well, I say he's the top candidate right now, but, it's week 1, so... and everyone has their slumps. So the question is, when will Penrose slump? And will he slump? Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll have a perfect season. Could he be the first player in IOHL history to go undefeated all season?
Yeah, possibly. He could possibly set the record in the first season. And from Penrose 27, will someone catch Michael D in the point race?
Yeah, sure. I think so, especially with the new rule established with games played. It's not going to be easy, but there are players that are putting up similar points to him in less games, including players on his own team.
Yeah, they definitely have a powerhouse there, too. And I believe that somebody does have the possibility to catch Michael D, but I believe if he's going to be listening to this, he's definitely going to step up his game, and I would love to see that. So I really do see somebody catching him, but at the same time, I can see him at the end of the season with the most points. Right now, I do not see him leading all the stats at the end of the season. I believe somebody taking at least one of those stats away from him.
Sure. Yeah. It's amazing he has 10 assists because he's the leading goal scorer. I think if someone could surpass him, it would be in the assist category for points. That could very well be the guys that are passing to him. You're going to get points passing to him, and he's going to get points shooting. So that's how it's going to work in Pittsburgh.
Yep. And let's talk a little bit about defense.
Yeah, that's this is a defensive league, I'd say. I'd love to hear it come from a defenseman himself. You.
It definitely seems like they're tight games. So it definitely seems like the best defense wins you the cup this year. It definitely seems that way.
Definitely.
And you have Detroit where you have different players playing defense. You don't have the same players playing defense all the time.
Right.
Let's play different places like that. But, who knows? Who knows? It's only the first week. So that about wraps it up for the first episode of IOHL Radio. Thank you for all that supported it. Thank you for all that pushed me to do it, including Barry Pucks, Eat Top Cheese, Bill, Crazy Coyote fan who's a free agent. Definitely Stranger Danger. A lot of people. Thank you to Tank, Penrose, and Michael D. Thank you to Michael D for creating a logo, even though it's not done yet. I bet it's going to be awesome.
I'm sure it will. He's a fantastic graphic artist.
Yeah.
You see what he does for people as far as making those graphics, and I wouldn't be surprised if the NHL hires him one day.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
All right.
But again, we'll be doing giveaways, prizes, contests, players of the week. Remember to vote for your players of the week. About midweek, Wednesday, we'll come out with a list. Actually, no. On Friday, we'll come out with a list of three players from each position: forward, defense, goalie. And the fans, you get the vote. Your voice will be heard. And we'll announce them on the next episode of IOHL Radio. Thank you for everybody for listening in, for supporting the show. I'm Supreme Trooper for Barry Pucks. Tuning out.